What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hammerdown Motorsports. Today we have some toys for the Super Duty. So obviously this engine, the 6.7 liter with 1,050 foot-pounds of torque, and I think it's what, 450 horsepower, is definitely no slouch. As soon as that turbo lights, it goes. But after driving it for a while, getting used to the power, it does seem like it could use a little help. It has a little bit of a dead pedal before that turbo gets to kick in. So we're gonna try something new. Well, it's not necessarily new, but it's new to me on this truck. And we're gonna see if we can up our game just a little bit, leaving the emissions on, all that kind of thing. We're not going crazy. We're not going EPA dangerous with this truck. And we're gonna try to up the power a little bit, try to get that pedal a little bit more sensitive. We're gonna have a little bit more of a view of what's going on inside the engine on it with these new products from Banks. All right, so right here you can see, well, obviously we have the new Icon toolbox, which I absolutely love. We do have our products here from Banks. These, I purchased these myself. I went right onto their website and I actually spun the wheel and got 10% off. So that is pretty cool. We do have the single gauge pod. This is something that I've been kind of on the fence about on what direction I was gonna go about where to mount this, but I figured this is gonna be my solution for now. And if we find another solution in the future, we can always change it up. This is the part number for that. Then we have our idash, which is going to be our gauge that's going to go into our gauge pod. You can see this is the front of the box. Very nice Banks logo there. And so I purchased this guy and I figured, well, we're already there, so we might as well go ahead and do a pedal monster as well. So this should take away our dead pedal. It should give us a little bit more sensitivity and just kind of take the babysitters off the truck a little bit and give us more of that power that we want. And then with the idash, we should be able to monitor more things. And plus, I mean, obviously having another gauge, it's gonna look cool. But before we do anything to the Super Duty with our new Banks toys, let's take this thing for a drive just to kind of give you guys the best, I guess, impression of what it's like to drive this truck completely stock. All right, so here we are cruising along, low RPM, about 50 miles an hour, and we want to step on it. That's all the way to the floor. And now we're moving. So it definitely took a little bit to get there. So hopefully with the pedal monster, we'll be able to kind of sharpen that up a little bit. So when we step on the pedal, we get our power pretty much right away. And there's gonna be a little bit of turbo lag. That's just kind of the way they are, but we're off the pedal right now completely. Let's get back down to 55 or so. All right, let's just punch it all the way to the floor. There's a definite lag. Like, by the time I push it to the floor, I can probably count to 3 until we start getting into it. So hopefully, and from what I've heard, I'm not gonna be disappointed at all with that pedal monster. So we shall see. All right, so we tore open all the boxes. I do have everything pretty well laid out in the truck. We'll kind of go over that in a second. We do have our pedal monster right here. Basically, this is just gonna go where your factory plug is on your drive-by-wire. So on your throttle pedal, there's a little red tab, pull it up, pull that plug off, then our new plug is gonna go onto there. Then our factory plug is gonna plug into the other side. So this is gonna be in line. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tuck this up kind of in the side of the dash, kind of show you guys what we got going on over here. We do have this weather stripping just kind of pulled down, and then I'm gonna have my pedal monster just sitting in this area here. We do have our wire coming down for our pedal monster, and then down there on the floor we have our OBD2 plug, which is gonna go into our port down here under the dash. So all we have left to do is disconnect our factory connection at our pedal, connect it to the pedal monster, mount that up in this area here. This is just the cover. This is the cover that goes on the side here. Very easy, just clips, just kind of pulls out of there. No big deal. And then you have that big area that you can access. One thing to note too, do this at your own risk. This is a curtain airbag that comes down on here, so you do not want to cross over this. I mean, from what I can see, it's gonna blow out of this opening here. So it's gonna come through. This is pretty solid right here, so it's not going that way. You just don't wanna cross over this. So you want to leave this area completely open. You can see my wire is pushed in really far this way, and it does the same thing as it follows this piece of trim and then goes over to our gauge right up there. So now as for our mounting setup, I do have the suction cup. It does have an adhesive on it as well, so it's very well secured up there. We do have the brow strip here with the tint, so it does kind of hide that. Now your view here, you're sitting at the wheel, it's just kind of up here and out of the way, so it should be really nice to have it there. Would I like to have a nice single pod gauge? Possibly one day, but for now this is going to be our best option. I couldn't really find any good A-pillar single gauge mounts, so this is just kind of how I did it, and we'll see how it all works out in the future. All right, so we have our pedal monster all down in here. You can see down there, it is, there's the module. Have that tied up there with the zip ties provided in the kit, and then all the wiring is nicely tied up underneath the dash as well. We have our pedal monster attached to our throttle pedal, and I did the calibration already. All you have to do is go through your idash, and then it goes to pedal monster, well, Banks modules, pedal monster, and then you go to calibration, calibrate your pedal, and then you're good to go to set it to other things. Right now I have it on sport level 4, and that's just a little tap on the throttle. So yeah, she's about to come alive. Here we go. Try this thing out. Now, in some of the past videos, if you guys remember, we did do some throttle controllers, and it did make a very big difference with the throttle response. But I have not done one on a diesel, so this is going to be my first reaction of what it's like to drive this truck with the turbo diesel and some good throttle response. Well, it's not supposed to do it in reverse, and I think it's just the regular. It does seem pretty responsive in reverse, I gotta say. All right, so we're out on some open road here in the Super Duty Sport Level 4. Oh man. Well, if you guys, obviously if you're watching this video, you're thinking about getting a pedal monster, it's the fun factor of when that turbo lights, but way sooner. That's what I can tell you about it. I mean, there's a lot more in this process, in this tuner or throttle controller, that you can actually turn this up even more sensitive. And with the drive-by-wire, you definitely have, it's for fuel savings and all of that, to just limit the amount of power that's in this engine until you really need it, so it has that delay, and it's so annoying. If you guys are used to the power on this truck, and then you get into it, especially if somebody's coming, you want to get going quick, you put it to the floor and it's like 1, 2, 3, and then boom, then the power comes on. But it's just like, it's a really big delay, and I really don't like that. So now, let's see what we got here. Slow down a little bit. Let's see if we can get some smiles per miles. Oh yeah. I love that. This is definitely worth it, because since obviously emissions are on the truck, we're not tuning it or anything like that, or doing anything. I mean, we might do emissions on tuning. I don't know what the deal is in the future, what's going to happen with the truck, obviously, but for right now, it only has 4,500 miles on it. So as far as warranty goes, I don't really want to mess with it too much, because if anything that is maybe the factory's fault, I don't want to have any question to whether it be covered under warranty. So just to add this, to get that extra power, just to get the power that you already have, just get it on tap a little quicker, definitely worth the money. All right, so let's pull onto the highway here. I'm barely into the throttle. Let's give her the beans. Oh yeah, She gets it. She gets it so much faster now. Trust me, if you guys get this on your truck, you're gonna notice an instant difference. Even when I was just pulling around at the shop, just kind of giving a little bit of burp of throttle, it was very, very responsive. And before, it definitely had a big dead pedal issue. And this is what this product from Banks totally eliminates. See up here, we have our gauge nice and out of the way. We got all of our information up there. We're at 61% on our DPF. We were at 60 before, so I don't know if having the pedal monster on is gonna maybe plug that a little sooner. I'm not entirely sure. It all really depends on how much you're into the throttle and all of that, but I really like the look of that right there. This is kind of our view right in front of me, just kind of cruising down the road here. And then when you want it, you got it. You really notice it a lot more down low, like kind of when you're taking off from a stoplight or something like that. It really pulls so much harder than it would have when it was just the stock settings. All right, so pedal monster, definitely worth the money in my opinion. I do like the idash as well. It does give you just more stuff that you can watch. You have your regular gauges, and then we have the additional gauges up there. So we have our boost pressure and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it says turbo, but it doesn't, it's just kind of a gauge. It has a 0 and a 40, so it's not really telling you, real time what's going on. So having the idash is actually very nice. I'm pretty happy with the way that it's mounted. I kind of would like a nice clean dash mount, but we'll have to see what the future holds for that. All right, so I was watching my gauge here a little bit on the last light, just kind of when I took off. Let's watch the little horsepower gauge right there. I don't know how accurate this is or what it really goes off of, but it is kind of cool. So now when the light turns green, let's see. Okay, here we go. I know I saw 635 horsepower, so I don't know. Is it? I don't think it had 635 horsepower, but it definitely feels a lot quicker now with the pedal monster, and it's just kind of cool to see up there. I mean, we'd really have to kind of look into why that gauge reads what it reads, but hey, maybe we have a lot more horsepower now. I have no idea. So is this a hidden power mod for your Powerstroke? Absolutely it is. And this is the same thing I said about the Ram, it's just that delay. You have that delay from the factory, so they're hiding that power initially just for reasons that you're probably not really interested in. And now you have the ability to override that and now have the power that your truck already has just now at the throttle where you want it. Exactly what you want to do. You want to hit that throttle and you want your truck to go. So why do they hide that from you? Because they don't want you to have as much fun as you should. That guy's having fun over there. Why shouldn't you have fun?